today.
Yes.
You're in the spotlight. We've been getting good feedback the last couple of years from breweries about the quality of our hops. We're in a pretty cold warehouse now. How do you think that's gonna impact the hops?
I think it'll have a massive impact on the hops. Having the ability to get them cold store within 24 hours of harvesting them is next level. It kind of retains all of that aroma and the goodness. And it's such a shame when you see it around the world when people pick and grow such amazing crops and then they're just left in an old kind of rusty shed and all of the aroma will go and the quality of the hop that was in the field isn't retained in the bale. So in terms of brewers getting the best quality that they can, having this cold store is a massive bonus and great selling feature for us.
Will, you've been farming for a good 4 or 5 years now. With regards to your own crop, do you think that there's been a difference in the quality as you've improved your processes and everything?
Yeah, I think when we started out, Henry and I went for yield pretty hard. I think that's how they've traditionally been grown here. I think in 2020 we've really focused on tightening up our picking windows, making sure that we're getting the hops at the absolute peak level of ripeness. We're not putting huge amounts of nitrogen on to get loads of green leafy foliage. We're just going for the most possible oils in the cones. So it was an exciting year. It was a difficult growing year at times. It went from really wet in the spring to bone dry. There was a day Henry phoned me and we'd finally figured out how to get a piece of machinery running, and just over that weekend the ground had turned to concrete and that was a bit of a low point, but we'd actually recovered really nicely and we've got in some cracking hops on an acreage which has rarely been farmed in the UK before. So no, overall I'm really pleased.
As an English grower, to be able to produce a crop and hops with certain aromas that are still going to challenge those kind of American citrusy and the amazing expensive hops from around the world. Because I think traditionally a lot of people just think that traditional English hops were for old-fashioned beers and they're not kind of pushing forward in the craft market. But with aromas like this, it's really nice as growers to be able to produce something that can then transition from kind of the old-fashioned beers into the craft market.
Brewers who come out to the farm and they walk around the crop with Henry. Henry talks to them about different ways we can control the growth of the plant, how we kiln it, how we pick it to meet those brewers' needs, and as well as getting feedback from the brewers on this crop, we learn what flavours the brewers might be interested in for future years. So generally up till now that's been done with more traditional, I'd say cask-oriented brewers, but more recently we've had a lot more interest from modern breweries, and it'll be great to see what Henry and Nathan come up with over the next few years to get new flavours out which are using British hops.
Yeah, man. Show us around.
We should put our So these are our Kiwi hops. I went out there, it was a bit of a jolly in March with Seb, who's in charge of sales, and it was fantastic actually. We saw the 3 Clayton brothers. I think they did a collab with Truck really recently. And it was just great to see ambitious farmers trying to get close to brewers, trying to deal with them directly. And we're proud they're working with us over here in the UK. So we look after their hops, which are going directly to brewers. And then we also have decent stock of Kiwi hops available for sale right now at Brookhouse Hops.
Jesus, these are unbelievable. And I'll keep going on about Chinook. They smell unreal.
Oh wow, yeah. Do you want to have a snifter, Seb?
Give us some.
Just to have a shot at growing some kind of American aromaed, kind of flavoured stuff, isn't it?
Yes.
See what we can do with it in the environment that we grow it.
Yeah, and the smell in the hop shed always changes. It's normally mid to late September and we get into the Chinook and it goes from some lovely English aromas, but then suddenly you get a hit of grapefruit in the hop shed, and
it's incredible, isn't it?
You can feel the team change. Yeah.
Have you ever had a beer brewed without hops that you didn't like?
Yeah.
All right, no naming names.
A couple of the green ones.
All right, you're not a fan of green beer.
There is one I really like. Are we allowed to say names on that one?
You can say the one you like. Yeah.
Hobson's.
Yeah.
Hobson's green hop with our Challenger is unbelievable, and it's consistently nice every year.
This year is really good. It's available on cask, I'm sure, in a lot of local places. And we're supplying more into the likes of DEYA and Track now, who traditionally wouldn't have bought our beers. And seeing the kinds of flavours they can produce is fascinating.
2, 1.
So this year we're supplying more modern breweries who traditionally we might have sold some Kiwi hops or some US hops to, but they wouldn't buy English hops. And we've had some great freebies back from the likes of Boxcar. We're looking forward to hopefully to something from this Track brew. And I've had some cracking beers from DEYA with our hops in as well. And we're very keen to work with more and more brewers of all different styles of beer and see what they can produce with our hops.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Cover all bases, if that makes sense, as opposed to just being a hop farm that supplies traditional breweries.
Yeah, I mean, we supply Goldings to the likes of Wye Valley, and they make some cracking beers. And now with the cold storage and the cold pelletizing, we're getting some good, fresh English hops into more modern breweries to complement the traditional styles.
Yeah, having that ability to cover it all is a nice feeling.
Yeah, keeps the team happy. Not everyone wants double IPAs all the time. Yeah.
Quick question. How many twigs do we put in our hops usually?
I don't know, we need to ask the new bloke.
So don't take the piss. We don't put twigs in our hops.
Okay.
And they don't, when they're processed right, so when you keep them fresh, they don't taste of twigs or moss.
About 3 per barrel.
Okay. What about some US brewers call English hops cheesy? Have we got any cheesy hops on sale?
Don't think so. No, not this year.
They should come and smell them. Times are changing. Yeah.
I think generically that cheesy aroma comes from really bad storage. So, and I know we keep going on about it, but having the ability to put them in a cold store and not leave them in a damp shed when they haven't been picked properly, maybe. I think it's probably a big combination, isn't it? But
the enemies of hops are the same as the enemies of beer. It's light, it's heat, and it's oxygen. And it's bloody freezing in here, which isn't so great for me and Henry. But it's cracking for the hops. They're staying fresh, and they'll stay fresh until we get them processed and out to brewers as soon as we can. Yeah. Good. We'd better apologise to Matt.
that's what we said about cheesy hops.